Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Sunday, 29th of August, 2021. Welcome to Hindsight, episode 21, where we learn to be a better trader. We're going to take a look at KNI's trading for the last couple of days, see what could have been done better, what opportunities were missed, and how we learned from our mistakes. Now, KNI was a massive pump stock. A bit of background for you guys who don't know anything about the stock. KNI IPO'd at 20 cents. It opened up on day one, on IPO day. Opened at 80 cents, instant 4-bagger for anyone that bought the IPO, 5-bagger within minutes because it rallied to $1 and then kind of just faded off into nothingness. Now, at the same time on this day, WTC made a massive 30% rally, $11 billion stock that had a massive pump. So that was happening on that day. That was a day one pump. KNI ended up being a day two pump. So that'll be relevant a little bit later. So let's have a look at day two of KNI. Now the obvious levels here are the horizontals and the opening range. Now guys, the reason I haven't made a video in such a long time is because I feel like I'm repeating the exact same thing. Like what are you going to learn if I keep telling you, take the opening range trade, catch it in the morning, hold it for like 15-20 minutes, take profit, and ta-da. That's pretty much every day for the last, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks. And the afternoon session is sometimes fade a stock at 2:30 if it's been non-stop rallying all day. So KNI is a little bit different today. It did the exact same thing on day two of its IPO, and it broke. Now, I didn't want to take 105 because 105 is kind of an unusual number. So I took a tick or two below $1. So I took that momentum here and I was really happy with that trade. Then from here, it was a really bizarre stock, right? From this moment in time, look at the volumes. They just completely died off and yet it's still trickling to the upside. So it was really off-putting. I didn't want to take a trade, and normally a stock when it hits $1 or 10 cents, it pulls back to either 92 cents or 9.2 cents for the pullback before making the next leg or making the next retest of the significant level of $1 or 10 cents. So in this case, it ended up rallying back to $1.05, pull back, and then eventually it broke on huge volumes. Now that's the confirmation that this is a breakout. I missed this trade. I wasn't paying attention to it. I was trading something else at the time. Now that is the level to buy in on. Obviously break, retest, and rally. Now by the time I caught it, by the time I was watching it, I kind of came back at this level here. I was just brought back my attention to it. And I thought, you know what, $1.30 was kind of the target, but I was a bit late to the party. It rallied, pulled back, tried to break again or tried to rally. Came back again, and it just did a bit of a range. Now, I was watching this and going, okay, let's grab the horizontal. If it breaks, grab it. Didn't do a market order, sat on the limit, didn't get filled because it just didn't come back down. So that was the support level. Didn't get there, missed out on the trade, and like an idiot, I started watching and not taking the trade, right? Give you a bit of context, guys. The last couple of months, right, especially, well, August has been okay. June, July has just been take whatever you can get. Just take scalps here and there, here and there, here and there, wherever you can, because money is scarce in June and July for day trading. At least I found it to be that way. August being earnings season, a lot more movement in the mid-cap space, but this was micro-cap stuff. And micro-caps hadn't heated up yet. So for me, when I looked at this chart at like $1.70, we can see what this looked like from the early morning, right? It looked parabolic at this point. And around $1.75, I thought, you know what? It hits $2 and I'm 99% sure this sells off, right? It's done. It's, going from $1 to $2 on a micro cap stock that, it's a junior explorer that's barely done any exploring. It's just a bit of an IPO hype pump because it's associated with Vulcan. And I was jokingly saying that, hey, if this cracks $2, and I really wasn't expecting it, just buy into the stock and we'll probably see 250. Yeah, so I didn't actually take the trade. I ended up just sitting on the bid here after it broke out. I just didn't lift the offer. For whatever reason, I was too slow and I didn't want to do it. It was, the correct thing every day of the week is to take the breakout. especially considering what pullback this was. Fuck all, right? 15 cents on arguably little volume and big range for the candles, by the way, but in the end, this breakout is insta-buy. Didn't do it, sat on the bid like an idiot. And just watching this thing rally, I'm like 250, okay, 250 is good. And that'll be the top. Nope, 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 nope. $3. At this point, it just keeps going all the way to 350. So massive opportunity missed out. And this is where I ended up just reading the tape, basically. So there was no level here, like no technical level, no horizontal, no trend lines, no nothing. This was purely tape reading at this point. Catching 255, watching the bid reload, a bunch of spoof orders, but mixed in with a bunch of legitimate orders. So took the trade at 255, sold it at 280, 279.5, I think it was. And yeah, I was really happy about catching the bounce and catching the bounce once more. At this point, there was even more spoofs from memory around this level. But I think from the top of my head, I saw a 350 or a 400k order, and it was getting sold into, and then the selling just stopped. And it was like a 3-second window where nothing happened. I thought, fuck, just buy the thing. Insta buy. That liquidity's there, and then everyone else followed. You know, the momentum just shifted entirely. So, boom, started reversing. Saw the tapering off of volumes. You can see it just died off, and so sold out, and that was pretty much it for the day. Now, if you guys remember, WTC pumped on Wednesday, KNI pumped on Thursday, and KNI is having the next pump on Friday. Now, the reason I mentioned WTC was because when things rally really hard, right? WTC is clearly a massive rally. KNI is a multi-bagger. And the third day usually comes with another massive rally. Another stock just pumps. I think the psychology there is retailers hear about these two pumps and they're hyped up for the next one. So they're all shopping for the next big thing. In the microcap space, there was nothing. Right? All the announcements were pretty dull. There was nothing of interest. So I think that was the reason behind KNI pumping again. It's like, if we're going to pump something, it may as well be just the same stock everyone's been hearing about. So here's a bit of context, right? We open up here at 214, we sell down to 255. It's 11:30 when it hits the bottom, right? So this is all downwards momentum. This is coming off a 16 bagger, right? Supply ends at 11:30. And we know supply ends because this horizontal means that there's now going to be a higher high. So for example, here we got lower highs, lower highs, and lower highs. And then of course, naturally, you've got lower lows that follow as well. So after 11:30, we start seeing a swing to the upside. Now, after 16 bags of gains from the previous day, this is now sitting at 8 bags of profit. And the selling stopped, right? That in itself is super powerful. Now, of course, we don't know that this is the bottom at 11:30. Of course not. So we wait, we watch the stock, and it breaks out. It's like, oh shit, could this really be going again after a massive morning sell-off? So I ended up buying the horizontal here at 177. Wanted to make sure to get in on this stock. It's a little bit higher actually here. So it does wick down a little bit, but it holds. And then it grinds. And then lesson learned from yesterday is the second this horizontal breaks, market buy. Fucking spam that market buy order and get filled as quickly as possible. That was the plan, right? The previous day, I was held back mentally. I was thinking, this is too high. This can't be possible. You know, can this really rally so hard? And what happens when it hits a certain level? Can it really keep going? What about the pullback? Don't worry about the pullback, right? So all these things that held me back from making money the day before, I went over it that night, and I knew what my mistake was, and it was purely emotionally driven, purely psychological. right? I lost the opportunity because I was in my own head, right? And I knew exactly what to do, right? I didn't want to repeat the mistakes of the day before. It's buy the breakout and just market this fucking thing, because sitting on the bid does not fucking work. It doesn't work. On this stock, it doesn't work. On any other stock, on any other mid cap, it works. This one, learn from the day before. Just market in, market in. So, took multiple orders because my concern was it wicks up and dumps. So I got my initial order here and then scaled in. Now, at this point in time, I wanted some kind of technical reference, right? I saw this horizontal here, but I thought, you know what, this didn't seem that significant. It was a bit of a bounce. Didn't feel significant. Maybe this horizontal here at 248, maybe this horizontal here at 288. I was just eyeing off some sort of opportunity to sell. And the only thing I really noticed that stood out were two levels, and that was from the fib level, top to bottom. The two major levels are always going to be 50% and 61.8. So $2.80, which happens to line up with the horizontal here. Perfect. I thought that was the level, but 250 was also, you know, less of a level to me, but I wasn't going to discount it. It's just in the back of my mind, $2.58. You know, I wasn't going to exit the trade just purely because of fib levels, but I was going to pay more attention at these levels. So what we ended up seeing on the tape was some resistance here, right? There was some big selling coming in. Took a third of my position off, another third of my position off, and then I went full size back in the moment buy pressure came back up. Created new highs, instantly bought back in. This should be a little bit higher. That was 233. And saw some resistance, and this was the level that I was talking about, that 50% fib level where it just came, it hit it perfectly, $2.58. And I saw big resistance here, right? The book thinned out on the bids. People were marketing in really hard. You know, instead of stacking the bids, or the follow-on bids were stacking in the order book, people were just marketing in. It was like a little bit too FOMO-y without the support behind it. So I was like, right, okay, time to scale out and scale out. And that's all she wrote. I was like, right, this is probably done for the day. Now, the next thing to note, and this was just watching, right? At this point in time, there's no shorts available. And there might have been a little bit, but there just wasn't much allocation. I certainly couldn't get any. Starts selling off. I'm not taking a long here. No chance, no chance. We've got lower highs being formed. I'm expecting lower lows, right? Big sell-off coming. So it breaks that level, creates a lower low. But look at what happens. Look at what happens when it creates the low here. The horizontal here. Instantly bounced back up. It didn't last here. Instantly bounced back up. I thought, well, that's interesting. So what are our next levels? We've got a horizontal up here and we've got a horizontal here. What's going to happen here? So watch, 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 and boom, gets rejected. At this point in time, after this rejection, I said, this was in Discord, not on Twitter, but I did end up tweeting it out eventually, and it was, if this sells down on lowering volumes, right, without a massive sell spike, this is going to be the support level. So we're going to go from this support level, with a tight stop loss, of course, to this level here. That's the last play of the day, right? Obviously, depending on how long this takes. You know, if it takes 5 minutes, then yeah, there's going to be more action. But if this plays out throughout the rest of the day, like a bit of a sideways grind, then yeah, this is probably the last trade of the day. Now, why do I not take this as a support level? This level here at 209? Because it's not legitimate, right? This is a fake out. That's not a support level. This is the support level. This is the support level. This was a fake out. That means nothing. In theory, anyway. So what happens is it gets there on lowering volumes. And the long entry here, clear as day. Now, does it actually end up going to $2.56? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is the risk is managed, right? This level here, that's going to be the sort of the visual stop loss. Now, this was grinding away, and we still have this horizontal here. Now at this point in time, at around 225, I set my OCO order, or one cancels the other order, which means I have one order and there is two conditionals. First condition, if it hits 209, markets sell everything. My second order, I wanted it to be well below this horizontal here because I was going to leave the screens. And I was going to make it back before market close, but I wanted to make sure to get out of this trade. So at $2.52, set a conditional and market sell, right? So that was my OCO order. Now, because I'm leaving the screens, I wanted to make sure that, hey, if I was going to get this trade successful, I'm not going to get it all the way at 258. That's a bit greedy. And I'm thankful actually that I did get this OCO order put in place, and I did go for my run because we finally have a nice day that's not raining and not 15 degrees. I think I would have got spooked here, right? Big buying, and then it just sort of dumps here. Goes right back below this horizontal level. So I did end up going for a run for about an hour, and thankfully I left my OCO order in because it did end up triggering, and really happy with that. That was pretty much 100% success rate today. There's a lot of little things to consider that happened today. For example, the third pump stock of the day, that was sort of a little nuance that goes into I guess finding some conviction behind this trade. It was paying attention to this as well and sort of telling that story of, hey, we've run out of supply and we're still 8 bags up from a 16 bagger. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, we've run out of supply, really? On the third day after a massive second day pump? And that in itself is just a lot of strength, right? A stock that crumbles, barely crumbles, and then just bounces after an hour and a half on the third day. It's just really strange. So all these things together, combined with learning the lessons from the day before, right? I might have been kicking myself for not taking KNI the day before, taking these obvious easy trades, and instead of taking these obvious massive trades, I ended up picking the hard trades and just barely making sweet fuck all out of them. So I learned my lesson from that because I was watching that all day, learned my lesson, and fucking destroyed the stock the next day. So lesson learned, go back, learn from your mistakes, learn from the missed opportunities, not just the mistakes, but what you missed out on. Go over why you missed out on it. And in my case, it was a huge mental block. Huge mental block. It was like, why would I take this trade here? Or why would I take this trade here? It's already rallied 100% for the day. You know, I was thinking all the wrong things. I was in the wrong spot mentally. At the same time, I was also trading something else instead of KNI, and I was probably just sitting there wondering, man, I could have just been on KNI while I'm trading this other thing. So, you know, there was a bunch of mental blocks. It was all purely psychological. It was all self-inflicted, right? Everything here, technically, is perfect. Order book wise, order book I wasn't too sure of. It was actually quite, you know, very fluid, very liquid. And it was a bit choppy as well, a little bit of a spread in some instances. So it was a little bit difficult to read the book on the way up for me personally. But look, when things came back on the way down, it was clear as day. But yeah, so look, every mistake I made was, or every missed opportunity was purely psychological. So guys, if you learned anything from this content, please do hit that like button or subscribe. I'd appreciate that a lot. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your weekend and catch you guys next week.